Hello everyone and welcome to Bevan's Bricks. I hope you're all having a great week, and today we're going to be working on this little guy. I am just trying to get a few things straightened out, and I think I got them now. Hey Lego Loop, how you doing? And why did that go away? There we go. Anyway, trying to get the camera straight in there. There we go. Anyway, I thought, you know what, because I really don't know what to build today, and I thought, I love this set. I think it's a great looking set. I think it'd be a great display piece. So I thought I would go ahead and build the classic Batmobile. Greg, how are you? Wonder Boy, hello, hello. Brooks Bricks. Hump Day, yes. The most misleading day of the year, or the week. Hey, Giancarlo, how are you? Let's set this guy over in the distance there. As you can see, I got the desk a little more clean, although I will say, if Paul does show up, I know it's still not clean to his expectations. Philippe, how you doing? Brick Sergeant, Aiden, John Garrett. You know, I'm just going to start ripping bags open. I didn't look at the numbers. I only need one. Brick Pasta, hello, hello. Does anybody else have this set? I figured, you know, since I just finished, even though I still want to revisit it, since I just finished the Avengers Tower, I thought, you know what, let's stay with the superhero theme and let's build Batman. Who's this, Greg? This guy's picking on each other already. That is awesome, Wonder Boy. And Steve, yes. Perfect timing because I literally just started. John Carlos says, Up Day, woo! Once winter gets here, my intention, at least I'm hoping anyway, is to actually start doing a lot more live streams. With summer is my biggest problem right now. I just haven't had the time. But like I said, come this winter, I'm hoping to try and ramp it up to maybe I can start doing it daily if at all possible. Steve says he definitely wants the Batmobile. Aiden says he put it together a while ago. There is no Robin, is there? I'll be danged. I have a solution for that, though, because I do have a Robin over there. At least I thought I had a Robin, because Robin came with, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Robin was in one of the DC minifig series. Like I said, I could be wrong, though, but I could have swore I got a Robin in one of the DC series of minifigs. And Thomas Davey, how are you? Scott's Blocks, in case I didn't say it. What's up, Brosif? John, this is the classic Batmobile, and this is Lego set 76188. It's, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, this is a fairly new set. At least I thought it was a newer set anyway. And I'm trying to get the camera angle a little better here, because I know my big arms like to get in the way of stuff. John McKinley, how you doing, my friend? Puff, puff, pass. And happy hump day to you, my friend. You know, and I don't even think it's for sale anymore. I kind of regret, though, and I don't know how many other people had got it or not, but I kind of regretted not buying the Manor set that they came. The Batmobile. It had the Batmobile, the Bat helicopter, and all that. I did not buy that set, though. And the reason I didn't buy it, I don't know, it just wasn't super appealing to me. And it's not that I don't like Batman. I am a huge fan of Batman. but that set just really didn't speak to me for some reason. And I still kind of regret not getting it though, because it was an interesting set. It just wasn't exactly to me the best set. I think part of the problem for me anyway was the fact that it wasn't a complete house up on top with Wayne Manor. It was just kind of basic, I guess would be the best way to put it. But there was a really unique piece in there, and there's supposed to be two of those. And it was the wall piece. It was a printed tile piece. It was green and white, and that's probably the only reason I regret not getting it. Lego Rhapsody, how you doing? He said, just went to the Lego store today, and it was great. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. I need to take my rear end to a Lego store. I recently heard, because this is something I was never sure of, like the Legoland Discovery Centers. We were kind of talking about that in Discord today. And I've always been kind of interested to go to one. But my thing is because, like for me, mine is so far away, I wasn't sure if it was really worth the drive to actually go check one out. And Kyle, one of my followers, subscribers, and thank you so much, Brick Sergeant. I really appreciate that. That was awesome of you, my friend. Brick Sergeant just donated $1.99, and again, thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate that. But anyway, what I was going to say though is I was never sure if they actually had pick a brick wall, because that would be my primary reason for wanting to go, would be the pick a brick wall. And one of my subscribers, one of you guys out there, actually told me that they have some amazing parts there, and I need to get my butt up there. So that might be this weekend's trip, is going to Auburn Hills Lego store, because they were saying that, and I'm not going to say what the pieces are because I've never seen them on a pick-a-brick wall before. Just in case anybody else that lives in Michigan beats me to it, which they probably won't be there by the time I get there. But from what I was told, the pieces that are on that wall are definitely something that everybody would want to have. I'll put it that way. And there we go. Trying to make sure it doesn't bubble on me. I'll just say what it is. Masonry bricks. That's why I said I really, 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 really want to go there, because I've never seen masonry bricks on the pick-a-brick wall. Lego Rhapsody says he hasn't been to one in years. Keenan Mulcahy says, when are you getting a BBL Beast? I'm not sure what a BBL Beast is. Brick Pasta says the parts usually change on the wall. Well, the parts change on the wall constantly, even at the regular Lego stores. That's why I said it's probably not there. But I've never seen masonry bricks on a wall, and primarily because anytime I've ever even heard of them appearing on a wall, they generally sell out so quick that you'll never see them. And when somebody told me that they actually saw those on the wall when they went there yesterday, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's like, there's no way, it's not possible. Because like I said, I've never, ever seen that. And I would be shocked if I went there and they actually have them. Because if they have them, I'm buying every one they have. Luckiest loser, yes. I haven't done the fire department, yes, but yes, everything is protected with the fire department vehicles. Absolutely. How you doing, my friend? Hey, how you doing, Kelly Costo? Steve says, let me know if you go. I have not been there a while myself. Absolutely. If I go, it probably wouldn't be till Saturday or Sunday, but I'll post it in Discord, so if you wanted to try and come up there. Aiden says it's only 240 miles. I'll race you. And like I said, to me, that's why it's like, holy crap, that they told me that there was masonry bricks. And I'm thinking, what? Because, I mean, I would say I don't know anybody out there that would not want to buy every masonry brick possible if they ever saw it on a pick-a-brick wall. I know me personally, I would probably try and buy every single one they had if they let me. Buy at least 5-6 cups, whatever, because To me, that one of the key things when you're doing buildings and such is being able to do some really interesting looking greebling. And masonry bricks are a really quick, simple, easy, and very classy looking way to do exactly just that, to try and get some greebling on a building. And when you use the masonry bricks on the facade of a building, to me, it just absolutely makes it pop. There's like no better way to make a building pop than to just fill it with masonry bricks. But they're so hard to come by, and anybody that does have them typically sells them for such a high amount. And I get it, I do understand. But it sucks because I know everybody else would like to have them too, and we just never can find them. And happy Hump Day, Carlo. Thomas Davies says, I saw light blue gray masonry bricks on the first wall to the pick-a-brick store. Yes, you should have got more, Thomas Davy, because like I said, it's extremely rare to see them. And you know, it's like I tell everybody when it comes to specific parts, any specific part. To me, there's certain parts that you never want to pass up, especially if it's on a pick-a-brick wall, because it's so rare to see them there. One of them is masonry bricks. Another one would be windows. I don't care if it's the 1x2x2s, 1x2x3s, 1x3x4s, or 1x4x3s, I should say. But any of those parts, if you ever see them on a pick-a-brick wall, grab as many as you can, because that is probably going to be the cheapest way you're ever going to be able to acquire a lot of them. But not even just that, with some of the best things to get on the pick-a-brick walls are like your 1x2 plates, your 1x1 plates, because you can get a slew of them. Just getting one cup will give you a couple thousand of each one of those parts, and you will never run out of them again if you get those parts. So those are some other parts to look for when you guys actually go to the pick-a-brick store, or go to a pick-a-brick wall anyway. Window frames, because we just had, well, I'm going to say my northern enabler, Matt, had went recently, and they had 1x2x2 window frames. They were brown, and he was unsure if he should get some. And it's like I told him, anytime you see a window frame like that, absolutely buy as many as you can, because again, it's a rare part to actually see on the wall, and it's absolutely worth it to buy them, because it is so rare to see them on the wall. Buy as many as you can. Unfortunately, when Matt got there, they didn't have a lot left, so I didn't get the quantity that I would have liked to have seen, but I still got some, and that's all that matters, because again, that is one of the cheapest ways you can get those parts. Absolutely, Wonder Boy. I totally agree with you. I love anything DC or Marvel. I like both series. Some people are kind of picky in the aspect that they only want DC or they only want Marvel, but me, I personally like both. So I definitely agree with you. And why doesn't that look right? But that's how they said to put it. Okay. And it shows it's off like that. It's just a little weird looking to me. And this is one of those cars. I'm going to build it just because I'm building it as a display piece. I'm not going to be using this in my city. But this is one of those builds that, to me, it really should have been made 6 wide. I know some people would disagree with me in that. Some people prefer the 8 wide cars. And I get that. But the problem that I have personally with the 8 wides and such is quite simply, they just don't really go in a city that well. They don't match up in a city that well. And I wish they would, but they don't match with the roads. Unless you're doing brick-built roads like I am, you can make them whatever length you want. But they do tend to be a pain in the butt, personally anyway. Some people, though, they love them. And to me, the biggest reason I don't like them is because it doesn't really look, an 8-wide car doesn't look proportional in a Lego city. Not when you look at all the other buildings. It's like they're making the buildings smaller, and then they're making the cars bigger, which is causing problems with proportions and a lot of different things. And I really don't know why they're doing that. As far as the 8-wide cars, though, I do like them. They're awesome display pieces. You just can't use them for city builds, in my opinion, unless you go really big, Bevanized big with your buildings. And even the way that I do my buildings, they're still a little bit on the big side for my buildings. I would have to increase my building size to feel comfortable anyway for myself to be able to use them in my city. John says I'm fast on his TV. He had to mute his computer so he can type, but the audio is fast on his TV. And I don't know why that would be. I hope my mouth, well, I'm looking at that, and it looks like it's matching. It's matching on my end anyway. Let me put it that way. Daddy, daughter, bricks. Hey, how the heck are you? Long time no see. Speaking of Kyle, that is the person I was just telling you guys about. That was out telling me about the masonry bricks on the pick-a-brick wall. Thomas Davies says, tell everyone in Discord when you are going and what they have there. Oh, as far as the pick-a-brick wall, absolutely. Wonder Boy says, I like cars 6 wide, but trucks and buses I like 8 wide. Now that I can see, that doesn't really throw your proportions off too much with the city. But like I said, for me personally, 6 wide is a max for vehicles. Just like I said, just my personal preference. But some people like them bigger. Some people like their trains 8 wide too. And I will be the first to admit the trains 8 wide look great. Here's where my problem comes with the 8 wide trains is generally they start building them really long. And once you do that, if you're using the standard L40 track, which is the Lego track, to me, make sure that ain't the boss. To me, it looks goofy because when you're doing the really big trains like that, as it's coming across the curve of the L40, it actually comes to the inside, or if you're coming on an outside track, it looks like it's coming to the outside, but it's a really, really, really odd look. So if you're gonna go with 8 wide, to me, if you're gonna have 8 wide trucks and 8 wide buses, you should have 8 wide trains. And with the 8 wide trains, you need to buy like an L80 gauge on the curves, which would be like a Trix Max part or Trix Bricks part, because I do believe they make them up to like an R120, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I thought they made them as high as an R120. Which is just, it's all the R is telling it's the radius, 120, and I believe the 120 is representing the stud count of that actual radius. And let me get this sticker on. There we go. Now I can see again. Felipe says yes. 6 wide on the trains too. That's what I do. I only do 6 wide on the trains, but I have seen people do some really, really amazing looking trains, and they were much bigger than 6 wide. They were 8 wide, and like I said, they look amazing. They just, for my city, they don't look bad. It's just, to me, you've got to change the radius of the track is the big issue that I have anyway. Bobby West says, howdy from El Paso, Texas, and hello to Texas, my friend. And I've seen people that way too. Felipe said 4 wide on the cars. Me personally, I love a 4 wide car. It's a little bit more difficult to smack the details in it, but at the same time, it makes for a real easy way to build. I used to love all the old little 4 wide cars that they made. I still have some of my original sets anyway, and I loved them because you could just use the pre-made door pieces and then the headlight and taillight pieces, and then you could just add a few little small tweaks and details, and then you have a whole bunch of different cars for your city, and they do look good. And hey, Eggtown, how are you? I have not seen you in a live stream in a while. I hope you're doing well. And yes, R2D2 is my ringtone on my phone. But what I was going to say with the 4 wide though, if you're a 4 wide person, the new Lego road system, which is those 16 by 16 plates, to me a 4 wide car is just made for those. No modifications necessary. It gives you a narrower street, and then you can have more sidewalk, and then you can have the buildings. 4 wide actually matches with the official Lego modular buildings much better. It's just a lot of people don't like them because it's really hard to do detail. It's not that you can't do details. I do want to be clear with that, but it is a lot harder to make a detailed car. Where a lot of people love to have the old 8 wide. And holy cow, thank you so much, Eggtown Egg. Eggtown Egg just donated $20. That was very awesome of you. I really appreciate that. And got the little cartoon guys saying number 1. Again, thank you so much, Eggtown. I appreciate that. Kip Hoffman says, picked up a second Central Perk today. 20% off on Amazon. That is a good deal. I will have to post that after I get off of here. So that's a very good deal. To me, because I had contemplated buying a second one of those. I did not realize they were on sale, though. But my thing with it is I didn't really want to get stuck with all the minifigs. I really don't need them. And there's only one of the biggest reasons that I would want a second one, quite frankly, would have been for the masonry bricks, because it has a bunch of masonry bricks in that particular set. And just for that, I thought, you know what, I don't need to buy it for that. But it is a cool set. What I ended up doing is I bought, because another reason that people want to buy that set is the green windows. And what I actually did is I went to Bricks and Pieces. They actually have them very cheap. Cheaper, I'm going to say about half as cheap as what you're going to find them on Bricklink. But I went to Bricks and Pieces and bought a bunch of those green windows, because that was the other reason I was contemplating buying a second one of those sets. And I was able to get quite a few of the, and I'm having trouble finding a part here. I was able to get quite a few of those windows, and it was actually cheaper than it would have been if I had bought another one of those sets. 6-1. I wish they just came out with a monorail system at all, but that would be awesome. And yes, 6Y allows for passengers, because that is my other big deal, is I really like to have more than one person in my vehicles. That's kind of my hang up with the 4-wide cars. I love the 4-wide cars, but it's just because I do think they look cool, but it's just it's quite simply because the fact that I can't put a passenger next to them is where I honestly have an issue with them. And Aiden says, I got my Central Perk with the coffee mug. Oh, very good. Felipe says, I actually simply want monorail back. And I'm with you. You know what, though, Matt? Yes, you are still here. If you are somebody like me, and I'm probably going to try and get some here in the near future, but if you're someone like me and you are interested at all in monorail tracks, Brooks Bricks actually knows a guy that actually prints those, and he sells them on eBay. Brooks Bricks, Matt, if you could actually put that link up, I would really appreciate it for anybody that's into monorail, because I have to say it absolutely blew me away. And you can actually see what the monorail looks like if you were to go to Brooks Bricks. I hate saying Brooks Bricks, I'm sorry, but I'm so used to saying Matt. But if you were to go to his YouTube page, you would actually see his monorail, because the tracks that he's using in his particular city is the tracks that his friend actually manufactures. And they're actually, from what I've seen, I don't have any yet, but Matt assures me that they're very good quality. And like I said, I'm hoping to get some in the foreseeable future anyway. And if I ever do, I will happily show those off. But like I said, they're pretty reasonably priced, and it's a way for people to actually get monorail tracks if you want the official monorail tracks. But another thing that you can actually do is there is another channel, and I'm trying to remember what that channel is. There again, also Greg or Matt or Kip, any of you guys, if you could go to the pages I follow and share that link, there's a guy that actually makes monorail track in Eggtown. I know has actually made some of this herself as well. But it's using 2x2, 1x2, 2x4, and so on bricks and tiles. And it's a really, really, really unique and cool looking monorail system, if you don't want the original monorail tracks anyway. But that's another option that I always tell people to kind of look for and look about, so to speak. But that's two different ways that you can get it without having to pay the high price. The biggest problem I know is that a lot of people are kind of snooty when it comes to off-brands and such like that. And I totally understand that. I get it. Some people are purists and they only want exactly what Lego makes, and if they can't have that, they don't want it. And like I said, I do understand that. To me, though, especially for things that Lego no longer manufactures, I personally don't see a problem with off brands. And prime example, for those of you that are not aware, even my train station, for example, I just partnered with a company called Light Take. And part of the reason that I partnered with them is because I heard so many different people complain because for anybody to build my actual train station, if you buy my instructions, which I have a Rebrickable page where you can buy those instructions, but for anybody to actually try and build my train station out of official Lego pieces, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you dearly. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just most people, when they hear the price tag of what it would cost in Lego parts, they choke. And it's because my train station's roughly 2,000 parts, or 8,000 parts, but it's roughly $2,000 to build that particular building. And the reason that I'm bringing up that I went with Light Take is I offered and did that because they sell it at a much more reasonable price. It is $576, if I'm not mistaken. And that was part of the reason that I did that. But again, I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, how can you possibly do that and go with non-Lego brand stuff? And it's, not everybody is a Lego snob. And I'm just trying to help people out that would like to own something really cool, even if it is an off-brand product. Because me personally, anyway, I don't have a problem with off-brand, even though I know some people do, but I personally don't have a problem with it. I don't typically use it. I will use it, don't get me wrong, but I don't go out of my way to use it. But I definitely do not fault anyone for using it in any way, shape, or form. I think it's great there's other options because I know Lego is progressively getting more and more expensive. And like this year alone, if you look at the prices for the sets that have been coming out over the last year or so, Lego has actually increased their prices by as much as 17%. And I get it, inflation, all that, I understand it. But it's making Lego harder and harder for the masses to be able to purchase and enjoy. And that's kind of the problem. And that's also why, like I said, I was offering options with off-brand products. I know I've been blabbing for a few minutes, so I am going to shut my mouth and go back to the comments for a second. Waterboy says, yeah, just isn't the same. And like I said, I totally get that. For some people, they will not do it. Your stud said the same thing. Philippe's checking out the monorail. And thank you so much for posting my Rebrickable, Greg, for anybody that has not seen the Rebrickable. And I agree with you, John. Like I said, I would love to have the original myself. And I will probably end up buying one at some point. I'd be lying if I said I won't. I will probably buy the actual stuff, bite the bullet and pay the piper, so to speak. It's just right now, Steve actually sucked me in to getting me interested in the 9-volt train tracks. So right now I am heavily investing into that. Like a lot of you guys may or may not have seen, I just recently did a video haul because I found what I considered to be a really good deal on a whole bunch, and I mean a whole bunch, of 9-volt track. And with that being said, I'm going to be able to 9-volt track my entire tabletop now. But now I'm starting to look for other parts, and anything that's 9-volt train track is just, if you've never bought it before, I'm going to tell you right now, it is outrageously expensive, and I put a piece on before I was supposed to. But if you've never had a 9-volt track, I really recommend them. They are absolutely amazing. I'm not going to lie. Ever since Steve sent me a small sampling, and I still can't believe he sent me what he sent me because it was absolutely amazing what he sent me to try out. After he sent me that, though, I have been hooked on the whole Lego 9-volt ever since. And now I am constantly looking for parts and pieces and controllers and motors and all that kind of stuff because I'm wanting to increase my collection as far as the 9-volt system goes. Because to me, it's a lot easier to motorize your trains and to power them up and get them going around the tracks and all that good stuff. So I would rather have 9-volt any day. And I still, to this day, do not understand why Lego stopped manufacturing them. because to me that was a much higher quality part, and it was actually much more green friendly, if you will, because Lego always totes that they're trying to go green. And to me, it always baffled me, because if you're trying to go green, why did you go from a 9-volt system back to, and what did I forget to put on? Went from a 9-volt battery system down to, and that's what I'm not doing, okay. Went from a 9-volt battery system down to, went from a 9-volt track system to a 9-volt battery system. And to me, it's like, why would you do that? Because now most people are not going to buy rechargeable batteries. They're going to throw them away. So that's landing up in the landfills and all that. And to me, it doesn't make sense as to, if they're trying to go green, why they would do anything with batteries. They should go back to the old 9-volt metal tracks, in my opinion. The Lego Lord says, I just got the Lego Thor's new Asgard set, and I love it. The fat fig is gold. That's what I'm dying for. I did order all my stuff August 1st online. I'm still waiting for it to be shipped, but that is one of the sets that I did get, and that was primarily the only reason I got that Thor set, was because it had Fat Thor. Steve says, I can afford Lego, but I am giving a lot of thought into purchasing a couple of Mold King sets or other off brands. Lego is getting ridiculous, and I agree with you. Lego is getting extremely outrageous, and I wish I could give a valid reason as to why it's doing it, but I really can't. But it is growing and growing in price, and I honestly think it's going to hurt them, because there's so many aftermarket companies, and a lot of them are actually pretty good quality, I have to say. I mean, I still prefer my official Lego, and thank you so much, the Lego Lord. The Lego Lord just donated $1.99. That was awesome of you, my friend. I really appreciate that. But I think if Lego keeps pushing their prices like they're doing, is what I was going to say, is they're going to end up hurting themselves, which some people might disagree with this. I already feel like they're kind of hurting themselves anyway, and here's what I mean by that. They, in my opinion, are reaching a little too far. They're reaching a little too far, and what I mean by that is it's like they're trying to cover too many markets at one time. Because now they're trying to cover the adult market, the children's market. They're doing all the new adult sets. They're covering Adidas. They're doing clothing lines. They did that back in the 90s. They tried to expand their market shares and all that quite considerably like that. And Lego was on the brink of bankruptcy when they were doing all that. And I'm kind of feeling like they're kind of getting back to that point again. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like they're overstepping the bounds, in that maybe they're starting to get a little too greedy by trying to get into too many different markets at too many different times. And I think it could end up coming back and biting them in the butt. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but that's just kind of something that I personally see anyway, kind of possibly happening to them. Brooks Brick said he got that set too. Thomas Davies says, would it be a safety issue with 9-volt shorts, etc.? I mean, I don't see how it's a safety issue. It's just a 9-volt power supply, and it would actually trip anyway because it does have an overload in it. I personally think what the problem is because, and here's part of the reason why I know a lot of people may or may not know this, but they're going to be discontinuing the road plates, and I know I've talked about this on a couple different occasions. But they're going to be discontinuing road plates, and they're also supposed to be discontinuing base plates as well over the course of the next 3 years. So it's not happening overnight. But here is my theories on why they got rid of the 9-volt track. With the base plates and the road plates, Lego does not manufacture those in-house. Currently, that is the only thing that Lego does not manufacture in-house, and it's because they can't fit those into the injection mold machines to make them, so they have somebody else do them. And if I'm not mistaken, the Lego plates, the road plates and the base plates, are not injection molded. Those are actually vacuum molded. Someone please feel free to correct me if I am wrong on thinking that or talking about that. But my point in bringing that up is the old 9-volt tracks with the metal pieces on it. Lego makes the track. They did not make the metal portion of it. And part of the problem with them not manufacturing it themselves, they don't have the quality control, was what Lego says the problem is, but they also have to buy it from somebody else, so it's hurting their profit share. It's the same thing with base plates and road plates. They're not really getting the profit on it because they're having to buy from a third-party source. And Lego's goal, is my understanding, is to keep everything under one roof and everything under their manufacturing control. And that's why they're getting rid of the base plates. My opinion is that's why they got rid of the 9-volt track. It wasn't a safety issue. It really wasn't a cost issue. It was they can't manufacture it in-house. They're not making enough money on it. They discontinued it. Just my 2 cents on it. But that's where I personally feel, and that's why I personally feel they discontinued it. Steve says, we are paying for all those exclusive licenses. Absolutely. Hollywood is greedy. Lego is following that path, and they need to get back to backs. And I I totally agree with you, Steve. I think that is what a lot of the problem is they're getting greedy. Because now, and again, like I was talking earlier, because Lego was on the brink of bankruptcy in 99. And then they jumped on the Star Wars bandwagon, which was the first licensing that they ever really had to purchase in a large, the first large licensing they ever purchased anyway, to get into and build stuff with. And they proved that Star Wars was so profitable. And I get this for any business, because you're making stuff to sell it and make a profit. But once they realized how profitable it was with Star Wars, then they jumped into Marvel and DC and Disney and like you said, now we're paying for all those different licensings, because every line of Lego that they make, they have to pay a licensing fee to that company, which means they have to raise the price on the set, which they pass on down to us. And so, yes, I mean, I totally get that. It just sucks, though. And a lot of it, I mean, I agree with a lot of people when they say that they're just getting greedy, and that is part of it, too. But like I said, I understand why they're doing it. I just think they need to step it back just a little bit, and quit trying to run like a bull through a china shop, and just try and slowly do it instead of just trying to race through it. And I think they would be better off. But again, as I was originally trying to state anyway, I feel that the way that they're doing everything, I feel they're going to back themselves into a corner, because I feel like they're biting off a little bit too much too fast. And again, I do hope I am wrong, but that's just kind of my personal feeling and twist on it. And I have been rambling like a fool. Trying to catch up on, I see a lot of people are just talking to each other. Wow, Wonder Boy says, I'm sad the plates are going to leave. I love them dearly. There are some really good aftermarket parts, though, if you don't have a problem buying aftermarket anyway. So I would not be too worried about them. I already use some off-brand plates myself, and I think you're actually going to see an improvement in the base plates in the off-brand market, because Lego is going to be getting rid of those. Monorail, Steve was saying Monorail was also a third-party manufacturer. There you go. And that manufacturer went belly up, and all molds were destroyed. So right there's your other problem. So again, it's most of the stuff that Lego seems to discontinue, it's usually Dad, and Kyle agrees with me, or I'm sorry, Daddy Daughter Bricks agrees with me on the 100% agree on the Lego 9-volt. Felipe says, he's talking to Steve, and I agree. If that was a third-party market, I totally understand why they did that, and I can see why it is, because, and I don't remember what the physical size is. I used to know what it was, but there's a certain, it's either 8 by 8 inches or something like that a part has to be able to fit inside for them to do the injection molding. And with, again, now that Steve pointed that out, it makes sense, because those monorail pieces are something like 12 inches or something like that, or 10 inches possibly. And thank you, Thomas Davey. He says, great ramble. So I can definitely see why those would have been a third-party part as well, because I believe anything that Lego manufactures has to be able to fit inside of an 8 by 8 by 8, an 8 by 8 cubed square for it, in order to be able to be injection molded. I might be off on the size of the cube, but I do know there is some size restriction to the cube size that they can actually do the injection moldings with. So, in a big push, for at least my understanding anyway, is Lego is trying to get everything back in house, and that's why anything that is not made in house is now being pushed out of their product lines, so that way why doesn't that look okay? That is right. Okay, so that way they can get everything back in house and control their quality a little better. At least that's their reading anyway. But yes, I agree with that too, though, Greg. They are oversaturating the market, because here's the other big problem that Lego is creating right now by jumping into so many different things. And it's funny because I need to get those, and I'll show them at the end of the live stream. But I've been buying some secondhand market military figures, and I'm looking at possibly selling them, but I have to sell them on the down low. And here's the reason that I say I have to sell them on the down low. I have to sell them on the down low because Lego has a real big issue with anybody selling anything that's minifig, so it'll be a down low sale thing. But the quality of these minifigures is freaking fantastic. And why Lego would even have a problem with anybody selling minifigs, I don't understand, especially when it's something that they don't manufacture. Because everything that I'm talking about, it's World War II minifigs. So it's the Nazis and the Americans and the French and the Canadian Army and all that good stuff. But Lego's Lego, and they're greedy, so they don't want anybody else stepping on their bank, and they own the rights to the minifigs, so that's why it causes problems. But yes, I do agree with you on the fact that they are oversaturating the market, and the reason I say that is they have released more sets in the last year than they've ever released in the past. I mean, ever. And with them doing that, to me, there's again, when I was talking about sticking themselves in the foot, they're sticking themselves in the foot again, quite simply because you're pricing everybody out of the market. I mean, people would love to have the Millennium Falcon and some of these, like the Grand Piano and things like that. Me personally, I'm not touching the Grand Piano, the Nintendo set, the Millennium Falcon, or any of those. And me personally, the reason that I'm not touching them, it's just quite simply because, to me, for them, I'll use the Millennium Falcon as a good example. To me, if they're going to sell something like the Millennium Falcon, it's a huge set. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a very cool set. It's just for the price point that they're asking and the pieces, the number of pieces that are in it. I mean, it is a good price, but I don't feel like they really put enough thought into that product. And here's what I mean by that particular product. For $800, it doesn't really even have much of an interior. And for me, if I'm going to pay that kind of money for a Lego set, I want to see an interior. And I don't mean I just want to see an interior. I want to see a detailed interior. I don't want you building a building out of 1,000 one-by-one pieces to tell me that it's an 8,000 piece set. Build it out of 1,000 pieces, because you're using a lot of different sized pieces to give me all those super cool details. And that, again, is, like I said, trying to, and I know I'm rambling, and I'm going to shut up again here in a minute, but that is why I feel like they're pricing themselves out of the market, and it's because of stuff like that, because they're doing stuff like that to me doesn't make sense, and to me it doesn't seem like they're doing the market research that are going to want that massive set, are going to want actual details and looks in the whole 9 yards, instead of just slapping together a set where it looks cool on the outside, but my mouth is getting dry. To me, and maybe when I'm out in my garage by myself, I want to run around and go pew 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 and with the Millennium Falcon, swoosh it around the barn. But when I'm looking at something like that, I am looking at it in a playability factor too, especially with the price tag that they're talking about. Because to me, if you can't do a few little pew-pews and swooshes with it, and then play around, like, put some minifigs in it to set up little scenes and cool little rooms, like when Luke Skywalker was practicing to hit that little, and I'm neglecting the name of it, the droid thing, though, when he was training with the lightsaber. But if you can't do some really cool scenes like that inside of the build, to me, it's overpriced. And I'm trying to go back to the comments here for a minute, because I know I'm rambling. Brent Donahue says, unpopular opinion, I think the Star Wars USC line is a waste of money. Brett, I don't have any of them, so I honestly I kind of agree with you. And hey, Whiskey Shred, how you doing, my friend? Isaac Reyes, how you doing? Yes, this is a gray set. Wouldn't say it's a waste of money because some people like to actually just have the spaceships, and because to me, if you're somebody that, just to give you an example, because I'm nuts myself. I mean, I have spaceships and stuff displayed on my walls as well. Mind you, the spaceships and things that I have actually displayed on my walls are all Hasbro toys, so they were not very expensive at all. And then I even have some other ships throughout my barn, and I even have all my Star Wars displays and stuff like that over here. But when you're looking at all that stuff, like my AT-AT, for example, that's a Hasbro AT-AT. I only paid, I think it was $49 for that. My very large shuttle Tidarium, to me, those look very realistic, and I'm actually looking at some point at adding some LED lighting to some of those, even though I know they're collectibles and people might choke when I cut them up a little bit, but to me, that's what I want to see when I'm looking at something to display. But other people that are huge into Lego, and don't get me wrong, because I am huge into Lego as well, but other people, they love to just build the set and put it on the shelf. And to me, I've never been that person, and that's why I'm not a big fan of the USC sets, because when I'm looking at a set, I'm looking at the parts that are in it. Do I want to rip it apart and use it for something else? And things of that example. I typically don't keep a set as a set. I always look at it as far as the parts that are in it. What's it worth? Is it worth it? Are those parts good parts? So on and so forth. But I know I'm not the normal Lego collector. Most people, it's just, that's a cool set. I want to buy it. I want to build it. I want to put it on a shelf. And yes, that is the good stuff, Whiskey. Isaac Reyes says it's like a studio room. And yes, this is my studio. Absolutely. And Papa's Bricks. I knew somebody was going to catch that. What I'm looking at doing, and yet, like I said, I know some of that stuff is collectible. When I say cut it up, I don't necessarily mean cut it up. But I am wanting to at some point, because now that I'm getting so heavy into the LED stuff, especially with even my Lego, I'm wanting to take some of those sets that I just showed, and I'm wanting to add like the actual lights that were on the shuttle Tidarium with LEDs and run the wires throughout it. I know there's got to be a way to install it without necessarily cutting it up, but I'm just not quite sure yet because I haven't played with them yet. But I may end up drilling a few little holes just to add some LEDs to them. And Greg says all his Star Wars stuff is on his sets or on his shelves. Kevin says, I bought a couple of Star Wars ships, Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, and I wanted his shuttle, so I built it out of spare parts. Those are really good sets. I definitely agree with you. Lego Rhapsody says, am I going to the Suicide Squad in theaters? And yes, I do plan on seeing that. That looks like a really good movie. I am a huge fan of Suicide Squad. Did I miss another comment? Whiskey Shred says, I got the new Star Wars wave for the figures and some Mandalorian display mocks. Man, there are some really amazing Star Wars stuff out there right now. Here's my problem though, and even G.I. Joe, I've been actually kind of nibbling at some G.I. Joe. So far, I have the new Hiss tank, I have the Fang helicopter, and I forgot what it's called, the little Jeep buggy, Dune buggy, as far as G.I. Joe goes. But I'm slowly nibbling at buying some of that stuff now too. Just because it looks just like the stuff that I had when I was a kid, and I just think that's freaking amazing. But the part of the reason I stopped buying a lot of the action figures and stuff, because I mean, as everybody knows, I just kind of remind everybody, that's all action figures all the way down the whole barn wall. But part of the reason that I got out of buying the action figures is they got so bloody expensive. I mean, they just got insanely expensive. And I would love to keep collecting them. It's just, holy cow. The average action figure now, you're looking at like $12 to $14. And when I stopped collecting action figures, they were averaging around $7. And I thought that was getting high. And that was kind of why I got out of the action figure market. I felt like they were kind of getting overpriced. And it's not that I don't like them. I love them. And some of the details are coming out with some of these new action figures. It just blows my mind. But the price tag on them, it's just kind of like, it's kind of hard. And yes, Whiskey Shred, you'll fight for freedom. I loved G.I. Joe. Since we're talking about G.I. Joe, I've always been a huge fan of G.I. Joe. And what actually killed G.I. Joe for me when I was growing up and made me lose interest in it was when they started to do all the save the environment stuff. And it's not that I'm against it. Please don't get me wrong. It's just it seemed like the cartoon got silly. Instead of fighting Cobra, they were fighting the environment. They were fighting earthquakes and fighting pollution, and it just as a kid anyway, it wasn't what I was wanting to watch. I wanted to see people kicking each other's butts. So they went into that Be Green thing for a little while, and then I think that was kind of what killed G.I. Joe off. Because it wasn't but maybe a year or two, or it seemed like anyway, after they started doing all that G.I. Joe kind of fizzled away. And I think it's because they shot themselves in the foot doing the Greenpeace stuff, because again, like I said, that is not what a kid wants to see. They want to see people blowing each other up and out and causing trouble and trying to beat up Cobra and all those people. And yeah, exactly. That's my point, John. Because like I said, a lot of those minifigs, like you said, it's $25. And I want to say the $25 figures, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that a 6-inch figure? It's not a 3 3/4. Felipe says, I think I have the same problem as Daryl. I like both Lego and action figures. And like I said, I have a lot of addictions. So, because I even play a little music. Whiskey Shred's way better than me, but because he does some music as well. But John McKinney says Cobra, la 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 la. Whiskey Shred says 86 to 89. I was addicted to the toys right after I was into Transformers. Transformers was another really cool one, and I kicked myself in the butt all the time. And the reason I say that is I used to have a lot of those, but there was a lot of toys that, unfortunately, when you're growing up, you start thinking, oh, you're too big for toys now, and you got rid of it. Well, a lot of my stuff, because I have most of my original Star Wars toys. Some of them are actually right over there on that shelf. As a matter of fact, that's the original Snowspeeder right there from when I was a kid back in the 80s. But the thing I was going to say, though, is, I was thinking I was growing up, I was playing with cars, I was doing hot rods, blah, 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 blah. And I got this harebrained idea, because I had Transformers and all that stuff, that I didn't need any of this anymore because I wasn't going to play with it anymore. Well, a lot of the stuff that I still have was stuff that my parents had already put in the attic, because I had kind of grew out of it at that point anyway. But my Transformers was I got into Transformers at that age when I was starting to get out of toys. So they were still in my bedroom and they were in my toy box. And, because I had Optimus Prime, I had Megatron, I had Laserbeak, it was the construction bot where the 5 robots went into one robot. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I had all those originals. Those were freaking awesome, and I gave them the Goodwill. I just want to cry when I think about that, because I had some really cool Transformers, and I just gave them away. So that's one thing I definitely do regret from my childhood, was giving away all those awesome toys. But I have to say, if you are like me and you did give them away, they are coming out with a lot of really cool new retro toys. For those of us that are nuts and like to buy all that stuff, and not be the first to admit, I'm one of those people that's nuts and likes to buy all that stuff. And I actually just did a fatal error again, and I need to get in the habit of not doing that. Here's what I mean by that. When I go to build a set anymore, I've been trying to scan the sticker sheets, so that way I always have a spare set so I can make my own. So I'm going to have to buy another one of these sets now, because I've already used almost all the stickers. But I'm slowly trying to get into that habit, and it's a hard habit to learn, because I'm trying to build a collection of stuff so I can try and resell them as part of it too, for people that have bad stickers, because we all know that stickers can be hard to come by, and they can be rather expensive if you buy the originals. Or if I could make a copy of this, I could sell it for $3 and make people's day to have a replica of it if their stickers got destroyed. But I keep forgetting to copy them. Hey, Alex. Hey, how you doing? Oh, Whiskey says you should crawl. I'd say those are some really cool new. Are you going to get that new remote control one where he actually walks and talks and transforms himself? Shockwave was a really cool transformer. Absolutely. Okay, Shockwave turned into the Walkman, but then I also had, was it Laserbeak? At least I thought that was his name anyway. He turned into the cassette tape that went into the Walkman, because I had both. Thank you so much, Greg. Steve Smet is asking me, what do I think about Lego Technic? I do like it to a point. Here's what I mean by that. I love Lego Technic as far as the pieces that are available, the things you can do with it, the mechanical abilities of the Lego Technic line. I'm personally, though, not impressed with the cars per se. Here's what I mean by that. Me personally, when I was a kid growing up, the Technic line, when they would come out, I think I'm saying that right anyway, the Technic line that they had back when I was a kid and it was growing up, you were building what looked like an actual car or an actual semi-truck or whatever, but it had the Technic parts in it where you could steer the steering wheel, you had a gearbox that would drive the engine in the front, so on and so forth. Now they've come out with this whole new line of parts when they make cars and things of that purely off the Technic pieces. To me, they look like crap. And I'm going to show you a quick example of what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this car. I think it's a very cool looking car, and I love the fact that it is Technic. But here is my problem with it. Because it's all Technic, you have all these holes and everything, and yes, it is a fully functioning car with the axles and the drive shafts and all that stuff, but what drives me nuts about it is you could actually conform the Technic portions of it, the mechanical portions of it, and put it into like the Creator cars where it has an attractive body, because that's my problem with the Technic line of stuff. The body is not attractive in my opinion at all. This, to me, to look at it, even though I like it and I love all the mechanical portions and pieces of it, and I love the pieces, don't get me wrong, I feel personally like it makes the car ugly. If they would go back to the aspect of actually building a car out of actual pieces and then putting the Technic pieces in them, I would be a bigger fan of the Technic line. But because of the way that the finished product of a lot of these cars and builds and such look that are from the Technic line, to me it's kind of a turnoff. Just my feeling on it. I know that it's probably not the popular opinion, but that is my turnoff with the Technic line. If they need to use the Technic pieces but put a more attractive body on the stuff that they're building, whether it be the Jeep or any of the stuff that they've been building, the tanker trucks and all that, and then I would be a bigger fan. Because to me personally, at some point I fully intend on ripping everything off this car and building an actual body for it that looks like a Creator body, and then putting the mechanical portions of it in one of those builds, just because I personally think this looks hideous. So do I like Technic? Yes. I just wish the bodies on the vehicles and such looked better. But there are other advantages to having Technic pieces as well. Elevators and buildings, structural support for buildings, structural supports for spaceships. The uses for Technic are unlimited, so I do love Technic parts. I just don't really love the sets, I guess would be the best way I could put it. Yes, Shockwave was the purple laser gun. Yes, I loved him. And then Megatron, obviously, was the silver gun, because that was another really cool one as well. And I do agree with that to a point, Kyle, but I'm sorry, Daddy Daughter Bricks. But me personally, I want something that looks good as a display. And that's where, again, that's where my problem personally is with the Technic line of stuff, is that it's not an attractive display. It's very cool mechanically, but it's not attractive. In my opinion, it's not attractive to display. At least that's what Mom always said. Yeah, they told us to be nice to others too. Or don't say anything if you don't have anything nice to say and all that good stuff. Most of us never listened, though. Yes, now Steamboat Willie was a very cool set. That was very, very cool how they did it in the black and white and all that. That I do. I liked that set a lot. I have it, even though I don't have it out here. That is one of those sets that the wife, once I got it, was confiscated, and it is on her nightstand. She actually has an excessively full nightstand full of the stuff that she likes. Oh, that's awesome. Whiskey Shred says he's got an original sealed Shockwave. That is freaking amazing, dude. Steve was saying Technic set 8448 was the Technic set that he purchased. He took it to work and drove it around. It had powered. Oh, now see, I have not played with any of those. And yes, you are right, Paul Bot. It would be about $249, but you know, I can't say it would necessarily be that much because the creator cars themselves, they do have some Technic stuff in them as well. Not as detailed as that, mind you. Because if you minused all the crappy body pieces, and there's other uses for them, it's just how they're using them. I don't like them. But if you replaced it with bricks and got rid of the body, I honestly would think you would find that it wouldn't be much more than, like this set in particular, I don't think it would be much more than, say, $150 if you built the body out of Lego parts and then did everything else the way that it is. Because it's just this outer skin that, to me, needs to be changed. Everything else is fine. It's just the outer skin, to me, like I said, that needs to be changed. And I hope you have fun with the granddaughter Papa's bricks. It's always good to spend time with the grandkids. Paul Bot says it's much bigger than the creator sets. Not really. Well, I mean, yeah, a little bit, but still, though, I would rather downsize it and have it like a creator as opposed to being upsized like it is. Just my feeling on it. And then, because I know a few people had mentioned about RC cars and stuff, or the other RC sets. And me, again, this is just how I look at it, my personal feelings anyway. Because I do have RC cars, and I would rather have my RC cars as opposed to having an RC Lego. Not that it's not cool, I would rather have my RC cars, because my RC cars I can basically destroy. And I do when I play with them, because I'm a little hard on them. And they're still rebuildable. Where this, I know you can actually destroy it and put it back together, so it's a little bit of an advantage. But I would rather have my RC cars because they can kind of take the abuse a little more than I think Lego would actually do. Your studs are showing, says the corner garage used techniques that would work well in a tow truck. And yes, they did. I also love the technique that they used for the new roll-up door in that particular set. That, to me, was absolutely genius. What they did to make that actually function. At least I thought it was very creative, very, very, a very cool technique that they used to make that actually function correctly. Because now you actually have the roll-up door and it actually rolls up. So I think that's personally quite amazing. And I realize that I am jacking my jaw too much, so I'm trying to kind of go back to speed building a little bit. And I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well also, Alec. Thank you so much for asking. And there it is. Steve Smet was saying, I bought the Bugatti Chiron, and there are not too many holes in it. Say some of them, to me, I have seen, some of them are better than others. Another set that I've seen that actually doesn't look as bad is, like, because I think, I might be mistaken, but I think this is actually a bad example of a Technic car. I could be wrong, because I don't have that many of them. Well, that's the only car that I actually have. But to me, I think that might have been a bad choice in the aspect of buying one for the first time. Because, like I said, it really turned me off. But I have seen others that did not, and you're right, did not look as dotted, I guess would be a good way to put it, as that one does. And I've thought about trying to buy another one or two just to see if they actually look a little better once they're done, because to me that absolutely needs a better body. And like I said, it's just my feeling on it, but it really, really needs a better body. I do not like the body on it at all. And bear with me while I'm trying to fly through and get these last few steps so I can get to the last bag, because I have been jacking my jaw way too much. And that is not a piece that is normally extra. So I screwed up. Oh, and I think I see it. That goes there. Nope, I don't see it. Where did I screw up? I left a piece off. No. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me make sure there wasn't supposed to be something on it. 1, 2. And nothing's on it. Okay, I'm good. So those other little pieces, those are normal little pieces. I think we all need a better body. I'm pretty excited about that sailboat as well. I have not received mine yet, but that is because I did make the 200 purchase just specifically for that, because that sailboat, I totally agree with you, Aiden, is a very, 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 very cool looking sailboat. Definitely agree with you on that. Sharish, hello, how are you? Miss Davies says, I seriously need this set. I'm assuming you're referring to the Batman set, and I'm getting my camera a little off skew. There we go. A salad would be a good start, but I don't like salads. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy. I love steak. I mean, I'd eat steak every day, and I know that's horrible for you, but I really would try and eat steak every day if I could. Hey, Troublemaker Bricks, how the heck are you? Thanks for signing in. Daddy, daughter, or Kyle, anyway, says, have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the live stream, and take care, Kyle, and it was good to see you, my friend. I hope to talk to you more soon. Actually, yes, Greg, you did see that, and I probably should have made a video on it. I have been horrible on videos here lately. With it being summer, I have just been swamped. But yes, they did announce today, number one, it's officially available to everybody, obviously. Number two, it did not sell out during the VIP only. And I do believe, yes, that they are going to be offering it, they said. I don't remember exactly when they're going to be offering it. But because of the fact that it was a $200 price point for people to be able to purchase, to get that set, I should say, obviously it didn't sell out because that was a very high price point, and most people are not going to be jumping in line to spend $200 to get that particular set. But I could have swore, like you said, that I had saw it somewhere myself, that you are going to be able to purchase that at a later date. So for anybody that did not get the set, the sailboat with their $200 purchase, you should be able to get it hopefully sometime in the near future. I thought they were saying sometime this month. I can't give you exact news because I'm honestly not sure, but I do remember reading that somewhere myself. So I want to say I do agree with you. But even if not, it's still available as a gift the entire month of August, or at least until August 28th, maybe. Maybe that's when they're going to offer it as a regular set. Because I know, what set was it that was a free gift that they're offering now? I was actually surprised by it because it was a set that I thought that actually sold out. But it's for sale as a set right now, and I can't remember what it was. I know they just re-released or brought back out, because there was a big thing about that. A lot of people wanted the Christmas wreath, and they said it sold out. But they are selling that again now. It's in stock, and you can get it. So for people that missed a lot of those different sets like that, they are bringing a lot of them back out. You just basically surf the website, and you will find them everywhere because they've actually been posting quite a few different sets. that originally were claimed to be sold out and no longer are. We got 2 freshmen, is that what I hear? I thought you were already in 9th grade, Alex. And bricking it up's going to 9th grade. You know what we called freshmen in my day? We called them fresh meat. I don't think they really do half the stuff they used to do anymore from when I was a kid growing up because of all the different bullying changes and all that. But it used to be kind of a rite of passage to kind of get picked on. wasn't too bad. It was just, you took your licks, and then the following year you got to give them. Kip Hoffman says he's got the sailboat, but he's hoping it's still at my Lego as group on AFOL day. Yeah, because that way you could possibly get it again. So I definitely understand that, Kip. Paul Bott was saying, not sure if you have seen, but someone did modify the USC Falcon with a full interior, and I believe it ended up going over 10,000 pieces. I can believe that, because even without the interior, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 8,900 pieces, or am I wrong on that? Is it 7,900 pieces? But like I said, though, I can see that being the reasonable part count for it to have an interior anyway. And that's, because that's even with my, and I have no idea how many pieces are in my Avengers Tower, but that's why I always tell everybody, I typically, I keep seeing something out of the corner of my eye. I typically do not do interiors on my large buildings, and quite frankly, that was why I always told people I don't do it, because typically once you start doing an interior, man, it eats up the parts faster than you would actually realize, especially if you're trying to get detailed with the build. But I would lay money that, because in my opinion anyway, I tried to dumb down my interior. I tried not to get too crazy with like my Avengers Tower, but I would be willing to bet there's probably a couple thousand, at least 1,500 to 2,000 pieces on the interior of my Avengers Tower. And that was with me trying to keep it somewhat down. Because if I was to tile the floors and all that, I mean, that would have just made it absolutely nuts. That's all it was, is 5,700 pieces. Holy crap. So it doubled it. So yeah, no, I totally get that. That's, like I said, and that's why I typically don't like to do interiors, but I am going to do one, which specifically my Grand Hotel that I built with the build-off with Charm City Bricks last year. I'm actually going to be doing the interior on that very soon. I do have all my parts for that. The parts were all donated to me from Brick Loot. I need to actually get that over here and start working on it. I have been having a bad habit, and I will be the first to admit it. I've been having a bad habit of messing around with a few of my other builds, trying to get some ideas. And basically what I'm trying to do is get an idea of part counts and what I'm going to need to order in order to do some of my other builds. But I think I've got a pretty good idea now on most of those. So the next big thing I'm going to start working on is that Grand Hotel, because I really want to get that worked on. I really want to get that finished, and I really want to get that lit up, because that's going to make that much more of the city just look absolutely amazing. Lego Rhapsody says he's not excited to go back to school. He's going into 8th grade, but luckily his birthday is in the same week. And that's not bad. Hey, 8th, man, enjoy your youth, my friend. I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't rush it. And I know it, because I know most people say school sucks, but I tell you what, these are the years that you're going to remember the rest of your life. So try and enjoy it as much as you can, because you're going to blink and it's going to be over, and you're going to wish you were a kid again. But hopefully it's a good school year, my friend. Philippe says he only does buildings with interiors on official sets, and I totally get that. And Nightwolf, how the heck are you? He says, a few days ago I was drawing to animal character that was from the third Balto movie and made them to look half transformer like. That would sound is pretty cool. Paulbot says, okay, it's at 7,200 pieces. I was wrong, but still. I was going to say, I thought it was closer to 8,000 at least. But okay, so 7,200. That does sound more accurate. So like I said, it was about a 3,000 part increase to do the interior in that. So that actually sounds about right. Yes, there are still spots available in the convention center, Aiden. I'm going to be ordering a bunch of things, but I'm not saying what I'm ordering just yet. You've already been issued a locker? Wow, that seems early to me. In Macro Bricks, how the heck are you? Lego Rhapsody says, I'm really hoping so. Yeah, we do all wish we were kids. We're kids mentally. At least I know I'm a kid mentally. I would say most of us here are probably kids mentally. It's part of the reason we play with Lego, to kind of help us feel young, or at least try and attempt to feel young anyway. And what is... Yes. Because to me, anyway, playing with Lego it kind of helps jog the mind. It keeps you from going nuts. Helps you keep sharp, I guess would be a good way to put it. But it also helps us feel young, and it's something we can do that even kids enjoy. So that's funny, because now when I was in school, and I makes me feel old even saying that, I don't remember getting a locker assigned to me until the first day of school. But now, let me ask this, though. Do you guys have year-round school? And what I mean by that is I know some places in the country, they have, I'm calling it year-round school. What they do, though, is they'll have like a month off during the winter, a month off in the summer, and a month off in the spring or whatever. So that I could kind of understand more. But like I said, because I know some areas are a little bit more different than others compared to how it was when I was younger. And again, I hate saying that because it's just making me sound old. And I totally agree with you, Macro. To have a kid's free time would be freaking fantastic. I totally agree. And that's what's funny, because I always laugh when I hear a kid say that they're busy, or and it's like, doing what? Watching TV, playing video games. I remember those days. I loved them. I wish I could have them back. Not to make fun of kids, don't get me wrong, because there are some kids that I do know are extremely busy, especially if they're involved in a lot of different after-school activities, specifically sports or any of the other clubs that you can get involved in. So there are ways that kids do end up getting beyond busy, adult-like busy as well. But I do know that is not most kids. Well, Varen says he's getting his locker tomorrow. So we got a couple kids in the house tonight. And like I said, I hope you guys all have a really good school year. Because I know last year sucked for most people. It was a real pain. I know it was horrible for my daughter. Because of between all the different things that were going on, and then face-to-face and not face-to-face, and trying to do the homeschooling on the computers, and it was a real pain in the butt last year, to say the least. And I really sympathized for my daughter, because it seemed to make it a really painful year. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Nightwolf. That's somebody we were talking a little bit earlier about what my thoughts were on Technic, and like I told them, I do like them because I love the mechanical abilities of them. I love the educational things and factors and stuff about those sets. It's just, to me, they're not attractive, but I do like the sets still. But that's actually why that's over here, though, because I thought I would grab one to kind of show what I was meaning and talking about in the aspect of them not being detailed enough, in my opinion. And that is a brand new piece to my knowledge. It's going to make me want to buy that set just because of that piece for the back hood. I dig it. I dig it. Hey, Ned, how the heck are you? Oh, I thought someone said, hey, Ned. Ned was here. Oh, I said it right. He is here. And he's probably doing a drive-by because I know Ned is usually working this time of day. And Alex was saying at Bevan's Bricks, but... And that's good. I know you've been doing really good with your basketball and all that too, buddy. And I hope it continues to go well for you. Because weren't you... Thought it was you anyway that was talking about how you did your first slam dunk. Am I mistaken on that? And I will put those on after. Yeah, we're all getting slow with our age. Mike says, never understood why kids have to pick on other kids hard enough, and it was just trying to get through the day of school. And, you know, what most of it is, in my opinion, it's because they have something, and it doesn't make it right. Don't get me wrong, because you're right. People shouldn't be picking on people, because most people do have it hard enough just trying to make it through the day. But my opinion on that is quite simply, most of the people that are picking on other people, it's they have such a crappy home life that they figure they're going to try and make sure everybody else has a crappy time at school since they have a crappy time at home. And just my thoughts on it. Doesn't make it right because it's not. It's wrong. But that's where most bullies are just, they're bullies because basically they have a horrible home life, or they're just miserable with themselves inside. Is kind of my 2 cents anyway. But you're absolutely right. People have enough problems in the day to deal with without having to deal with people acting like idiots and treating people poorly. And it's really sad that does happen to the degree that it does these days. And I think most of us adults pick on other adults, Macro. A lot of that, though, I think maybe because of the generation that we grew up in, we all have a little bit harder skin, I guess would be a good way to put it. Because, I mean, I know Macro and a lot of the other people. I know Ned's actually a little bit older than me. Oh, Ned's in the office tonight. But what I was going to say, though, is we grew up in the day and ages of, the yo mama jokes and all that stuff. So we kind of had to get a thick skin where, my opinion anyway, is it seems like nobody can really get a thick skin, because I feel like, and don't get me wrong, because I am totally against bullying and all that, but I also feel sometimes that maybe it's a little bit over-policed on the bullying situation. Again, just kind of my thoughts. It doesn't mean that I'm right on that, but I feel like maybe that it has kind of taken away from people's abilities to get a little bit of a thick skin. And, rightfully so, nobody should have to get thick skin, but I think that's why a lot of people like our age, Macro's age, and so on, Greg, we typically have a little bit of a thicker skin because of the generation that we grew up in. Everybody picked on each other for fun. And it wasn't necessarily to be mean. It was how we all got along, between all the different punch buggy and everything else games, slug bug, and it's how we got along back in the day. Hey, Isaac, how are you, my friend? And yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. I totally forgot. I should have had Mac or Greg or Mike or somebody post something in the stream or Discord. I totally forgot. And what it is because I used to have that bot that would notify everybody, and unfortunately that bot has become a premium service, and I have not looked into purchasing it yet, is what it boils down to. But it is something I need to look into, so that way I can get the notifications to you guys better. Mike says, well, personally, as an adult, he looks forward every day to pick on Matt. Alex says his neighbor used to do the yo mama jokes all the time. So, I'm trying to see if I can even think of any, because, like I said, that was like a staple for me when I was growing up. It was like, your mama's so dumb. Trying to remember. Oh, your mama's so dumb. When she saw airport left, she turned around and went home. Or, let's see, I'm trying to think. I used to have some really good ones, and I cannot remember any of them. But yes, yo mama jokes are definitely a thing of the past. They're not something that's super popular today. And I have 4 pieces that to me should be somewhere on this car. And I am trying to glance at it really quickly to see what I possibly have missed, because I don't see anything I could have missed. That looks like the completed car to me. But I've got 2 of these wedge pieces that to me should have gone somewhere in the place that I would have thought they would have gone. There you go. Macro got one. Your mom was so dumb she thought a quarterback was a refund. She ran out and got a bowl. You guys are killing me. Oh, you guys obviously all remember the yo mama jokes. Oh, jeez, oh, Pete. Oh, okay. Thank you. Aiden says that is to replace the stud shooters if I don't want the stud shooters there. Okay, that makes sense. Maybe if I flip through the instructions, it would show me that. Yes, it does. Okay. That definitely makes sense. So I can pop those off and put those in place. Okay. Now I got it. As I say, because I'm thinking, I know I didn't miss something because it looked pretty stable to me. But oh my God, yeah, like I said, the yo mama jokes are old though. Oh, and to me, the best one was always, let's get off of mom's because I just got off of yours. And I know that was another horrible joke, but what happened? Oh. She's so small she dated him like a minifig. That's good. But anyway, yes, this is a very cool set, Ned. I personally like it a lot. I have to find I'm going to have to find my Robin because I know I have a Robin. But it is a very cool set. Thomas Davies says, I'm not touching that. I must have missed a good one. Stud shooter. And yes, another live stream where I actually finished a build. Is Paul here to actually witness this? Because I know Paul is usually the one that likes to point out that it's yet another live stream that I didn't finish a build. That is 2 weeks in a row. Because last week, what was it I did last week? Oh, I did the Quinjet last week. So that is 2 weeks in a row. I am on fire. Somebody stop me. Anyway, though, and I have went over my time, though. So, because normally I only do an hour-long stream. I'm sorry, I was just reading my thing here again. It's funny. I need to actually kind of respond to what they're actually saying, but because I have a second screen that my moderators can kind of talk to me on, and I just kind of look at it and nod my head yes or no. But yes, if you could remind me to scan my stickers, I would definitely appreciate that, Greg. I just noticed you typed that one too. And that's awesome, Rhonda Fritz. Everybody should have a Lego City, absolutely. But anyway, though, like I said, I am already up late. So with that note, I am going to thank you everybody for hanging out. I really do appreciate that. I finished the Quinjet. But anyway, I'm going to roll that beautiful bean footage. If I can find the button to do it, and there it is. And with that, I want to give a really quick special thanks to all the people that help support the stream. So with that being said, I want to give a very special thanks to Brick Sergeant, Eggtown Egg, and the Lego Lord. Thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate it. That was awesome of you. And it says a new member, Dale Young, but Dale is already a member, so I'm going to assume his membership renewed today. That seems to be the case every time it does that it's somebody that just renewed on the day. But anyway, again, thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with the stream. I will try and stream again on Friday. So until next time, as always, thank you for coming to Bevan's Bricks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below, and hopefully we'll see you next time on Bevan's Bricks. Thanks, guys, and have a great night.